maybe Terry's having a heart attack. I survived. 6 people walked past me. This isn't a heart attack. Fake it. You're the siren. Gotta take a picture. I get 12 minutes to live. Straight into theatre. But we just want to get you into recovery now. I then remember getting wheeled out into a corridor and getting taken to the ward and seeing all the people I worked with for the first time since I was on the street. I was genuinely quite taken aback by how many of them were actually there. I just figured most of them would have went back to work, but no, every single one that had been at the side of the road was now in the hospital with me, which was extraordinary. When the people I worked with turned up on the street to where I was having a heart attack, I had one rule that I made them promise they would keep for me, that under no circumstances would they contact any member of my family until we had an outcome. Basically what I said was, I don't want you phoning anybody and saying, Terry's had a heart attack. I wanted to either be safe in a ward or dead. I didn't want it to be stressful. I didn't want anybody to spend the next 2 hours worrying about me. I wanted it to be all one thing. Hi there, Terry's mum, Terry's dad, Laura. Listen, Terry's had a heart attack, but he's okay. He's had surgery, he's in the ward recovering. Or the alternative would have been, hi, Terry's mum, Terry's dad, Laura. I'm really sorry to tell you, but Terry died of a heart attack today. You see, I didn't want to cause anybody any more stress than they were already going to go through. I didn't see the need for anybody to have to sit and wait for 2 hours to come out of surgery or however long it was. Years later, I would find out that they never honoured the promise and my mum knew from the start, but they were nice enough to keep that from me. Obviously, they phoned my parents. You don't not phone somebody's parents when they have a heart attack. I was just being silly. I've really tried to remember the next part of that day, but they must have given me something, because the next thing I remember is waking up in the bluest room I've ever been in my entire life, and it was TARDIS blue. And for the briefest of moments, I was completely convinced I was in the TARDIS. And I was so happy. All I could see was blue curtains, blue walls, everything was blue. And I was just so happy. I was in the TARDIS. Then I looked down and saw the hospital bed and my wrist. And the real world came crashing in on me. And I suddenly realised where I was. There was this huge plastic brace around my wrist, and I started fiddling with it. And at that point, somebody came in and said, Mr. McEwen, can you please not play with that? It turns out it was holding the main artery in my wrist closed. One of the perverse, majorly disappointing things of that day is I have one scar to show for this momentous day in my life, and you won't be able to see it on screen, I don't think. I'll try and take a photograph of it, but there is this 0.5 centimetre white line on my wrist where they cut my wrist. I get 3 stents, by the way. They put them in through the main artery, push it all the way up your arm, and then down into your heart. And then they do the same with the second one, and then they do the same with the third one. And then they put this clamp over your wrist and tell you don't touch it, don't play with it, because if that comes off, you'll be dead very, very quickly. I slept with that thing on for 3 nights and fell asleep staring at it each night. I couldn't get my head around how they can just let you lie there with this thing on your wrist. I'm pretty sure they knew what they were doing. As I mentioned before, I'd made them promise not to tell anybody about what had happened until I was back in the ward. So now, as far as I was concerned, that was them telling people now. The people I worked with were amazing that day. They went and picked my mum up. They brought her to the hospital. They waited as long as she needed to be there or could be there, and then they took her home. Then they came back just to tell me that my mum had got home safe and everything. And it was just the outpouring of unconditional support will be with me until the day I die. And the things I remember most about my mum being in the hospital, it was all emotion. I remember feeling so much love. I could see the look in her eyes as she sat there completely helpless to do anything, but just the complete and utter love that was just emanating from this woman. And weirdly, I'm a 40-year-old man lying in a hospital bed, and I can honestly say I felt about 10 years old, just completely surrounded by and protected by this woman's love. I'm never going to forget how safe I felt just with my mum being in the room, and how bad I felt for putting her in this position. I can't remember when Laura actually turned up with Layla. It's all very confusing, but I remember her turning up and we never said anything. She was crying, I was crying, and we just held each other. One thing I've not mentioned is the fact that I think it was a couple of days before it, but my dad had just went on holiday, and I made my mum promise that she wouldn't tell him until he came back. Guess what? At some point I passed out, just exhausted, and when I woke up, my dad was there, and I burst out crying and just kept apologising for ruining his holiday. After a few days in recovery, I was moved to the Royal. That's when people start to come and talk to you, like the surgeon, psychologists, the anaesthetist, and everybody starts to tell you more about the condition that you had. I was later reliably informed that the heart attack had been caused because one of the main arteries, veins, whatever, that go into your heart, one of mine had always been defective, and it was always going to go at some point in my life. I was just lucky it happened when it happened, where it happened, and that the right people turned up. Because as I said at the start, one of the great things about September the 16th every year is I get to say I survived a heart attack. The surgeon who finally came and explained to me why I'd had a heart attack also had a list of lifestyle changes that I would have to kind of adopt. And they had to point out the fact that I kept calling it my episode, my seizure, or just anything except the words heart attack. And they said, Mr. McEwen, you need to start calling it a heart attack. What does it matter what I call it? If I don't call it a heart attack, I'm not going to treat it with the respect that it's due, and may not actually recover fully, because I'll start doing things a lot faster. I'll start doing energetic things a lot sooner than I should, because in my head, I've not had a heart attack. That was really hard for me, actually saying the words, I've had a heart attack. After a few more days in recovery, I was allowed to go home, and I went to stay with my parents during the recovery period, which lasted 6 months. That 6 months was weird because there was a lot of having to accept frailties and limitations, and I'm not good at that. Peter Pan syndrome, I'm going to live forever. Having a heart attack really puts a dampener on thinking like that. They gave me all my medication, and I'm going to be honest, I still hate taking that medication every morning. I know it's keeping me alive, and I know it's keeping my heart good, but to me, that wee line of medication that I've got to take every morning is just a sign of how frail we can all be. There was a period after my heart attack where I nearly stopped taking the meds just because of how bad it felt at the fact that I'm too young to be doing this. After a while, and I'm back at my parents' house, I got a letter through telling me that I had to attend some counselling session, and I'll be honest, I didn't think I needed it. As you can probably tell from the rest of this video, there was only a couple of seconds or a couple of brief moments during that day when I was actually scared or upset. Generally, I was quite excited through the whole day. I had survived, and I was quite proud of that. But I went anyway. We spoke about how did I feel about nearly dying and all this kind of stuff, and I was honest. I didn't die, so it doesn't really bother me that much. But then we got to the bit where we spoke about the 6 people who walked past me, and I got about halfway through it and then burst out crying like I've never cried before. And it was because I was having a really hard time believing that I lived on a planet where 6 people thought it was okay to walk past a dying man. And you know the scary thing? It's got a name. I'm going to get this wrong. It's either the delusion of responsibility or the diffusion of responsibility. In a nutshell, what it means is, if somebody witnesses an event that they have 2 choices, get involved or not get involved, if they're by themselves, the majority of people will choose not to intervene. They don't want to get involved because they don't want the responsibility of what may follow on from that action. But ridiculously, if there's more than one person, they will compete to see who gets more involved. On average, only 1 in 6 people will stop and intervene. I couldn't have been any more stereotypical if I'd tried. You know the sad thing? I'm not angry at them. I genuinely feel sorry for them. 6 people were given the opportunity to be spectacular that day, and every one of them failed. At the very most, all they had to do was dial 999, and they never. They could have boasted about it for months and felt really good about themselves, about how they saved someone's life, and they chose to not do it. Please tell me that I am not in the minority when I think that that's insane. As I mentioned right at the very start, today's usually about me writing a blog about how you really need to appreciate what you have. Trust me folks, you never want to be in a position where somebody is telling you you have X amount of minutes to live. My life never flashed in front of my eyes during any point of this, but I thought of every single situation that would have left me with regret. I wasn't going to see Layla grow up. I wasn't going to get to marry Laura. I wasn't going to get to apologise to my mum and dad for having a heart attack. I just wanted 5 more minutes to phone these people and give them everything that I've always wanted to say. And I knew there just wasn't enough time. When I was lying in the street before anybody came and I genuinely thought I was going to die, I said goodbye to Laura, Layla, my mum and my dad, knowing fine well that they would never actually hear it. It was insane. The world went quiet and I just internally said goodbye to these 4 people, hoping that somehow they would know. And I apologised to every one of them for not being there from that day forward. And all I could think of was, I'm never going to see Layla grow up. Will she understand what happened? And that feeling will never leave me. Guys, if there is someone in your life that you haven't spoken to in a while, that you really miss, phone them. Talk to them on Facebook. Just get some way of contacting them. Don't ever be in the position to live with a regret. I've said in practically every one of these videos that it's beautiful out there. It is. Even on the worst day, I still believe that it's a beautiful planet. Everybody knows what I'm going through just now, but I still completely believe that there's a good enough reason to be on this planet to get better. I don't know who you live with, I don't know what your social circle's like, but please tell them how you genuinely feel about them. I can honestly say that the people in my life know exactly how I feel about them. Every single day I tell Layla 1,000 times that I love her. Every single day I tell Laura 1,000 times that I love her. I try to speak to my mum and dad at least once a day, and I can guarantee you that there has never been a day that my mum and dad don't know how much I love them. Every one of those people also drive me crazy at some points, and I know I drive them crazy, but every single one of them knows exactly how I feel about them. You have to let people know that they're important to you. And also, be spectacular. Being spectacular doesn't mean climbing mountains or raising millions of pounds for charity. Sometimes it's just saying, how are you? And actually meaning it. Not the, hiya, how's you? Waiting for fine. There are a million terrible, bad things in this world. Don't add to it. Be better than that. I am quite sick just now, but I want to get better because this is my life. I love my life. I want to be the person I was. That's why I'm doing this. And if me joking about the day I had a heart attack makes you turn round to the person sitting next to you or the person sitting at the other side of the room and say, you know what, I love you. They'll probably look at you as if you're insane, but it doesn't matter. On some unconscious level, they'll love you saying it. Also, if you have limitations, like a heart condition or depression, accept that you have them. There's no shame in being sick. Shame is in not doing anything about it. You have one perfectly amazing life, 40, 50, 60, 70 years on this planet to do something spectacular. And it's not build skyscrapers, be Prime Minister, probably a bad example, but it's not all mammoth things. The other day, Layla left me a note at the side of my bed. She snuck into my room during the night while I was in the living room and left me a note just telling me that I make her smile and I make her day. She's 9 and already gets it. She's my spectacular thing. So if there's any one single message in this video, it's you only get one shot at this. Trust me, you don't want to have the regret that I had. I don't have it anymore. Everybody in my life knows exactly how I feel about them. Always. And I'm never going to have that again. If I was to suffer another heart attack or any other condition that ended my life, none of my regrets would be about I didn't tell somebody how I felt about them, or that I could have been a better person. Anybody who knows me on Facebook knows that I do embrace every single day. Not just because of the heart attack, I did it before the heart attack. It's not always easy, but having a heart attack really gives you an incentive to try harder. Folks, I could talk for hours about this, but I'm going to stop now because I have no idea how long this video is. If you've enjoyed it, please, thank you. Guys, have an amazing day. If you didn't believe me now. It's an amazing wee planet out there. You will find something spectacular in today if you really look for it. And it might just be that somebody made you a cup of tea. Please guys, be spectacular in your own way every single day, because you are. You just need to know it. Folks, thank you for watching this ridiculous video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's made you giggle. I know there was some serious bits. That can't really be helped. I was talking about the day I had a heart attack. And as always, folks, please share this video. The more people that see it, the more chance that it's actually going to reach somebody who needs to see it, who'll get something out of it, who will actually benefit from listening to me witter on. And it would be an awful shame if there was somebody there who could get help from this video and they never knew about it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.